We have holes to fill just like we do every year. That's what Kirby said about his team. He talked about this in the spring actually, and there's been a lot made of how this team is going to have to really rebuild or reload on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think there's any question about that. There is a lot of optimism inside the program about what the offense can do. Um, and we'll see, right? I mean, this time of year, it's harder to know in the summer when there's no pads. All offenses tend to look good in the summer. But the discussion about how good the offense could be or should be, that's been going on for a while now. And there's a lot of hope that the offensive side of the ball can help the defense kind of get going. We saw a season ago that Georgia's defense was ready right out of the gates, and it took Georgia's offense about a game to get going. It's not like the Dogs were really suffering on the offensive side of the ball last year either. I mean, they came out of the gate. Obviously, didn't score a touchdown against Clemson, but the UAB win 56 points, South Carolina 40 points, Vanderbilt 62 points, Arkansas 34 points. I mean, you get my point. They scored a lot of points. The only game that they failed to score more than 30 points in the regular season was the Clemson game. The only two games they failed to score at least 30 points was the Clemson game and the Alabama game. And in Atlanta, all the other games have scored 30, let's see, at least 30. Kentucky held Georgia to 30 points a season ago, so we're just going to have to see. That Kentucky game certainly is matching up to be a tough one for Georgia, and it's on the road. Kentucky's a tough place to play, man, at night. I mean, even 3:30 games, which I've been to a few times in Kentucky, they love the Cats now. There's no doubt about that. But when you look at the board, and I'm not going to turn the camera, but when you look at the board over here and you see that there's some holes to fill, as he talks about. His direct quote was, "We have we have holes to fill just like we do every year," which is totally true. On the defensive side of the ball, that's where everyone's going to focus. You have 17 front seven players, excuse me, 27 front seven players, 15 linemen, and 12 backers. And you've got some young guys in Sorey, Chambliss, Dumas Johnson, Munden. These are all guys that are going to have the ability to really play in significant downs for the first time in a very long time. We'll see what Walker, Lightsey, and Washington have to say as true freshmen. Your older linebackers are pretty experienced. Particularly Nolan and Robert Beal. I mean, Nolan is going to be the leader of this team, the vocal leader. I think he's more talkative than anybody else. He's got a lot to say. Intelligent guy, generally speaking. So Nolan is important. The secondary at Georgia is old. It's experienced. Again, I talk about this a lot on DAWGSTRUCTION. Well, there's Nolan right there, right? Okay. Everybody on the cover of this book is coming back. The guy that returned the touchdown, you can't see. I'm pretty certain that's Christopher Smith right there, behind number 11. That's William Poole, Dan Jackson getting blown up or choosing to blow himself up right on the end zone. These guys are coming back. Okay, the run in the park in Indianapolis, that group's coming back. This crazy person here screaming to get down. Moments later, probably about 25, 30 minutes later. Well, it was maybe longer than that. That was such a well. Let me just say this: pick up DAWGSTRUCTION today, and it's a great value. You're missing out. I'm running lower on these books than I would like, so get on it because I got media days coming up. It's going to slow me down. You got that. You get DAWGSTRUCTION. You get our 2022 preview for free. This is not Athlon. This is not Lindy's. Those guys do a really good job talking about Oregon State and Louisville. We don't talk about those teams in here. We only talk about the Dogs. You can pick this up below, or if you order DAWGSTRUCTION today, you will get it for free. If you want to pick this up at Red Zone in Athens, you can do so. If you do not live in Athens and you just want the preview, the link is down below as well. The national championship, the time between this moment and when he got on the stage, they had to build the stage. It was a whole thing. You watched Kirby walk around, talk to players, uh, shake hands with people. Um, there was so much um, happiness, joy, exuberance. Um, Kirby lost the national championship at Alabama. Um, he never lost a title game. Is that correct? In 14 they lost to in 13 they lost to Alabama. They lost to Auburn in 13 and 10. They lost to Florida in 08. Those were not national championship games. In 14 they lost to Ohio State. By 16 when Alabama lost the national championship game, they lost without Kirby being there. He never, and someone can correct me, he's never lost the national championship game until he got to Georgia. And this, you could feel um, his. I think it was relief. I'm not sure, but I really just now looking at the picture harder than I have in a long time because we didn't know what to put for the cover. By the way, um, and it was decided that because this was such an iconic moment, which it is, um, that this should go on the cover, okay? And this shot was not, this is the only image in the book besides Jeff Foxworthy's selfie, which is right there. Um, this is the only image of the book that is not taken from a dog post camera. This is from our friend Chris Collins, who I've known for 20 something years and has shot the dogs forever. Him getting this image is different. That's a long story. But we thought about what to do in terms of what image to use and where to go with um, the shot. I really like this shot too of Kirby's family. That's his mother in the background, wife, son, mother, daughter, um, and the jubilation in the stands. This is a really great image from. These are great images from Dylan Weber, but this image of Kirby, um, he expects a lot of himself. I think now I don't know Kirby personally. He's not my friend, so I don't know. But it sure seems to me like there's a lot of expectation that he has for his program and therefore for himself. And this moment was very fortunate. And the more I look at it, the better this image is because of his expression and the trophy just being right there. That he did that at that moment. Um, Let me tell you, I hammered down on the shutter for that deal. But that there was so much relief after that moment happened that he um, all of the building and all the stuff we're talking about today, where you have holes to fill, that all in that moment probably went away because by the next morning, I was at the press conference the next morning. We didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. By the next morning, he was back to being himself or being tight Kirby, I should say. There are times when he is genuinely happy, and you can tell. And that was one of those moments. Now, when he's in front of the cameras, we don't see that a lot, but we see it on the field. The bond between player and coach, which if you played a sport, you know what I'm talking about. And his happiness in that moment, maybe he, for that time, that short time when he was visiting with his family and everybody, he was able to not think about we have to fill holes just like we do every year. It's a tough job. He's well paid, no doubt, but he's done an excellent job of getting Georgia in a position to where they can fill holes. Um, and when you look at what they've got coming back on the at the receiver, at tight end, there's just no question marks at those spots. offensive line is pretty firm. They're in good shape there. The quarterbacks, I mean, you're returning the only guy that's won a national championship in college football. Hey, Alabama fans, chill out. I'm talking about starting quarterbacks. Bryce Young's never done that. The running backs, I think, is the one spot where, if you want to freak out a little bit, okay. But Kenny McIntosh and Kendall Milton are pretty good players. We will see what happens with Robinson, Paul, and Edwards. I mean, Edwards has proven himself over time too. But this team, it's not without players. It's not without players. Got to find a punter. That's another